Good morning, students. Today, what we will start, previous class we have just completed regarding the UHF transmission and the different parameters of the transmission line. We have seen the different conditional activities of the transmission line equations and the solution that we are getting or achieving using the transmission line parameters with different conditions. With the different conditions for the Z dot, Z naught, we have seen the different parameters. We have studied the different locations. We have seen the different length parameter aggregation of the aggregation. Then we have seen what are the utilization of the transmission line in some defined sector or some defined cases. Now, in today's class, I want to discuss about something that is called the UHF transmission line as a circuit element. First, we will share my slide, and I will share my slide, and then we will discuss what are the different points that are associated with this kind of thing or this kind of parameters or this kind of transmission line equations. So, if you see my screen, the article name that is called the UHF lines at circuit elements. So what are the different UHF line parameters? Because in our previous class, we have seen the ultimate resultant equation that are associated with this particular equation number 7120. Today we will start our discussion on the UHF lines as circuit elements. So what we will discuss, what we will do. So the transfer of energy from one point to another is only one use of the transmission line. So that is the main motto, not only in case of transmission line, in case of any communication system or any communication equations, what we want to basically do, we want to transmit the energy or transfer the energy from one point to the another point. So the transfer of energy from one point to another point is only one of the only one use of the transmission line. That is the primary use, we can say. There are lots of uses. There are many equations involved that will tell us the different uses, different parameter allocations of the transmission line. At the ultra high frequencies, that means the UHF, because this kind of thing, this kind of parameters we will discuss or we will use in ultra high frequency, in many high frequencies applications. So microwave, satellite, radar engineering. So these are all associated with the high frequency allocations of the high frequency equations. So when we have mentioned that the ultra high frequencies and equally important application is the use of the sections of line as circuit elements. So above 150 megahertz, the ordinary lump circuit elements. We have seen the structure of the lump circuit elements. We have seen the basic structural, we can say, basic structural form of the lump circuit element, that how can we construct the different circuit elements using this particular elementary block diagram. Elements become difficult to construct, and at the same time, the required physical size of the sections of transmission lines has become small enough to warrant their use as circuit elements. So we will see the miniaturization, or we will see the modified small type of location of the sectional analysis of the transmission line equations. They can be used in this manner up to about 3000 megahertz, where the physical size then becomes physical size will not be greater. So where that physical size then becomes too small, that will be very small, and waveguide begins to take over. In the figure 719, in the figure 719 means this is the figure that I want to mention, that is the input impedance of various transmission line section. You will see different types of equation parameters, that is the figure 719. We have seen the different input impedance parameters, input impedance of various transmission line equations, that we have seen the JS equals to JZ naught, JS equals to minus JZ naught, JS equals to plus JZ naught, JS equals to minus JZ naught. So these are the different forms of the equation, different shapes of the equation we have seen. So when we will discuss the structure like this way in figure are shown some lines, line equations, and they are low frequency equivalent. Low frequency equivalent means the lower frequency allocations, the mid frequency allocations. What are the different section of the improvement, or the different section of the points that we are getting? So the magnitude of the input reactance of the first four of these sections is given by equation 114. Which one is the equation 114? 114 equation is basically this particular equation, that is the equation we have seen, that is the equation form. So the ZS parameter we have defined. In the ZS, certain conditions we have defined what is the value for the ZS. ZS equals to Z naught multiplied by the ZR cos beta L plus JZ naught sin beta L divided by the Z naught cos beta L plus JZR sin beta L. That is the equation format. That is the equation we are getting at the point of equation number 7114. So the voltage and the current distribution we have seen regarding this ZS and the Z naught relation. We have established the relation between these two, and we have seen what are the different allocations or the different equations that we are getting associated with this particular form. Next one that I want to mention with this particular sake of the application. So the quarter wave and the half wave section. That before going to the quarter wave and the half wave section, before going to this particular article, we'll see another point, that is when the appropriate value of ZR is inserted. That is ZR equals to 0 for the short circuit. We know this kind of parameters, this kind of association we have already seen. When the ZR equals to 0 for the shorted sections and the ZR equals to plus infinite for the open section. So the shorted section of the open section application, we have seen the different value of the parameter, the appropriate value of the ZR. We have seen the resistive component of the input impedance is negligible for the usual low loss lines. So the resistive component means the resistive component is basically the property that we are associated with this case. So resistive is the R value we are getting. So the resistive component of the input impedance is negligible. That will be that this particular impedance effect will be negligible for the usual low loss lines used at UHF. Low loss line used as the ultra high frequency. Thus, it is seen that for line lengths that less than a quarter of a wavelength, the shortest section is equivalent to an inductance and the open section to a capacitance. So, the wavelength to the shortest section, that is the essential case of the application, when the wavelength is shorted to a particular extent of the value, because now we will discuss in the next article what is the lambda by 4 equation, because that is called the quarter wave section, and the half wave, that is the lambda by 2. So different case of the lambda, different section of the lambda, different portions of the lambda we will study. So, and the open section, a section to a capacitance for length of line, that is the capacitance of the open section is inductive. So depending upon the condition, we know the shorted section is capacitive one and the open section will be the inductive one. That is basically called the properties of the different transmission line equation. So, however, it should be noted that unlike their low frequency equivalents, this inductance and capacitance change value with frequency. Obviously, we know there is a dependency factor. There will be dependent factor using the frequency with the inductance and the capacitance value. So first, before going to the detail of these things, first we have to see what is this quarter wave and the half wave section. First, we have to identify what is the quarter wave section and what is the half wave section. So quarter wave section. So for the particular case of the shorted quarter wave, we have again quarter wave we are discussing, and quarter wave is a case specific application. So for the particular case of the shorted quarter wave line, that is called the shorted lambda by 4 factor, or the open half wave line. Open half wave line means the lambda by 2 factor will be, that is the open condition. So that are the two different things we are getting. The two different things we are getting in this case. One is we are considering the shorted, that is the lambda by 4 equation in case of lambda by 4 section for the shorted wave quarter wave transmission line, as well as lambda by 2 section for the open half of the line. The input reactance, because ultimately in this case not the pure resistive component will be there. With the pure resistive component, there is a portion that is associated with the inductance section, reactance section, so imaginary part, so that will give us the reactance value. So this equation, the equation number 114, goes to infinity. This equation number 114, ultimately tends to the infinity, and the resistive component of the input impedance must be taken into account. This corresponds, that will correspond to conditions in the parallel resonance circuit. So that will ultimately converge, that will ultimately go to the equation, that will ultimately go to the movement, that is called the parallel resonance circuit, and that is called the low frequency analog. That is, if you tally this thing, analog means if we are establishing the equation between the parallel resonance circuit and the series circuit, or tally the parallel resonance circuit or the series resonance circuit, we are identifying that we are basically finding out the low frequency analogy between this, if you consider this particular condition, that is the parallel resonance circuit condition. So which has an infinite impedance if resistance is negligent. So that will obviously give the infinite impedance if the resistance value we neglect. So in both cases means the quarter wave line and the parallel resonant circuit. If you consider the both cases, so quarter wave line is one case, as well as the parallel resonant circuit. We'll discuss the parallel resonant circuit different conditions. I will discuss about the different figures that we are getting in this case. The actual input impedance when the series resistance is not neglected is a pure resistance of very high value. So that is a pure resistance of a very high value. In the case of the line, its value is given approximately by that is the RAR equals to 2Z0 square divided by the RL. So RAR, that is a factor, that is RAR is called the input resistance of the line at a resonant length. And R is the series resistance per unit length of the line. L is the length of the resonance section, which will be an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength for a shorted line, or an even multiple of one quarter wavelength for an open line. So that are the two different conditions we are identifying. One condition is RAR, that is called the 2Z0 square divided by the RL. So 2Z0 square divided by the RL is condition when we are identifying the input resistance. So RAR is called the input resistance, that is the line at a resonant length. Resonant means up to a certain extent of the length. And the R is the series resistance per unit length of the line. L is the length of the resonance section. So this L is called the resonant of the this particular resonance section. So the obvious certain length we should cover, and this L is associated with the resonance section length, which will be an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength for a shorted line, or an even multiple of a quarter wavelength for an open line. So depending upon the two conditions, one is called the shorted line, another is called the open multiple of a 1 quarter wavelength for an open line. So shorted line and the open line, two conditions we have defined, and depending upon the two different conditions, RAR already we have defined. So RAR equals to 2Z0 square divided by the RL we have find out. These expressions. This expression is obtained directly from the equation 100 and 101, in which the actual line loss is not neglected. So this equation number 100 and 101, when we are getting deep, we have to certain different equations we have mentioned. So again, I have to refer the equations. So if you see the book, if you see the notations that we have already defined, already seen. So equation number 100, that is the first equation. What is the equation? That is Vs parameter we have defined. So Vs equals to Vr cos of hyperbolic gamma L, that is the cos of H gamma L, plus Z0 IR sin H gamma L, that is the source voltage equation we have defined. Similarly, source current, that is the Is parameter we have defined, that is the equation number 7101. So Is we have written IR cos of H gamma L plus Vr by Z0 sin H gamma L. So equation number 7100 and the equation number 7101. Vs parameter is equals to Vr cos of H gamma L plus Z0 IR sin H gamma L. That is the equation number 7100. Similarly, equation number 7101, we have defined Is equals to IR cos of H gamma L plus Vr by Z0 sin of H gamma L. That is the equation number 17101. And the rest of the equation, the ultimate equation we have established, that is the ZS relation between the Z0 and the ZSC and the ZOC. That means the short circuit condition and the open circuit condition with this particular Z0 parameter. So if you see the equation, that is ZSC multiplied by the ZOC equals to Z0 square, that is the equation number 7104. So they are talking about the two different form of the equation. First equation, equation number 7100, we have written the expression, we have write down the equation for the Vs and the Is. And Vs and the Is we have associated with this Vr parameter as well as the Z0 parameter. And ultimately the equation number 7104, we have this find out this relation, that is the ultimate relation. What is the equation? That is ZSC into ZOC equals to Z0 square. That is the form, that is the expression we are getting. So depending upon this condition, we have defined the rest of the different figures. But in today's article, they have defined this particular term, that is the two different analogy, that is the equation number 7100 as well as the equation number 7104. These are the two different equations I want to mention, I want to see in this case. So if we see the equation number 100 and the 101, so the voltage source equation Vs and the Is equation, now that will be modified, and we are getting the expression for the Vs and the Is. Vs equals to IR Z0 sin of H gamma L, Is equals to IR cos of H gamma L. So Vs we are getting IR Z0 sin of H gamma L, and the Is we are getting IR cos of H gamma L. That is the two expression we are getting. So dividing the voltage equation by the current equation. So voltage equation is basically called the Vs and the current equation is called the Is. In this case, the expression for the Vs and the Is already we have written. So Vs equals to IR Z0 sin of H gamma L, and the Is equals to IR cos of H gamma L. So if we divide this voltage by current, we are getting divided the voltage equation by the current equation, gives the input impedance of a shorted circuit lines as we are getting the modified expression. So ZS equals to Z0 tan of H gamma L. That is a very important equation. Again, I want to mention. So ZS equals to Z naught tan of H gamma L. Now we'll just put the terms. So we are getting Z is equals to Z naught into sine H alpha L cos of beta L plus J cos H alpha L sine of beta L divided by the cos H alpha L cos of beta L plus J sine H alpha L sine of beta L. That is the expression we are getting. So Z is equals to Z naught. Ultimately, Z is equals to we are getting Z naught into sine of H alpha L cos of beta L plus J cos of H alpha L sine beta L divided by the cos of H alpha L cos of beta L plus J sine H alpha L sine beta L. So for the line lengths that are an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength, so sine beta L equals to plus minus 1 and cos beta L equals to 0. That is the two different things we are getting. So sine of beta L equals to plus minus 1, we are getting for the sine beta L value, and the cos of beta L value is 0. So under these conditions, the input impedance becomes Z is equals to Z naught cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L. That is the expression we are getting. So Z is we are getting equals to Z naught multiplied by the cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L. If alpha L is very small, if the alpha L value is already, we have seen the alpha value that is nearly equals to 0. In some certain conditions, we have seen the expression for the alpha value is nearly equals to 0. Now, if this alpha L value is very small, that is generally small. If you compare to the value of the beta, this alpha L will be too much small. So if alpha L is very small, as is generally true for sections of low loss line, obviously I have mentioned the different equations. We have seen the different sections of the equations or the different portions of the equations for the low loss line. This cos of H alpha L nearly equals to 1 and the sine of alpha L nearly equals to alpha L. So that this Z is nearly equals to Z naught by the alpha L term we are getting. Again, I am going to repeat, if alpha L is very small, so as is generally true for sections of low loss line, so cos of H alpha L nearly equals to 1 and the sine of alpha L nearly equals to alpha L, so that ZS parameter, ZS we can write down, ZS is nearly equals to Z naught by the alpha L. When omega L is far greater than R and the omega C is far greater than G, that is the specific, because in this case we are trying to discuss the case specific applications. So another term we have mentioned, when omega L is far greater than R and the omega C is far greater than G. So alpha is given in terms of the line constants by alpha equals to equation number 7, 1, 0. Just see carefully the expression. So the equation number 7100, alpha value we have defined, alpha equals to half into R into root over C by L plus G into root over L by C. That is the expression number, equation number 7110. So what is the condition? What are the different conditions we are trying to establish? Again, I want to repeat the thing. We have started with this particular condition. Particular condition means that is the topic name is UHF lines as circuit elements. If we use the ultra high frequency lines as a circuit element, so what will do? What will be the impact that we will see? So ultra high frequencies above 150 megahertz, the ordinary lump circuit elements become difficult to construct, and at the same time, the required physical size of the sections of transmission line has become small enough to warrant their use as circuit elements. They can be used in this manner up to about 3000 megahertz, where their physical size then becomes too small and waveguide LFI techniques become to take over. So now if you see the guided waves, different expression, if you see the figure name, they have given, that is the figure 719, that is the input impedance, that is the input impedance we are finding out of various transmission line sections, different types of transmission line sections. What is the input impedance that we have to find out? So this particular figure, different various condition you will see. The first condition we have referred here, that is the ZS equals to J into Z naught multiplied by the tan beta L, that is the one parameter. ZS equals to minus J Z naught quad beta L, that is the another parameter. So if you see the different values of the two sections already we have referred. First section, the first part, if you see, that is the expression we are trying to write down, that is ZS equals to Z naught, J Z naught tan beta L, and another term, another portion we have mentioned, that is ZS, for the obviously that is L length is less than lambda by 4, L is length is less than quarter wavelength, this is the L is less than lambda by 4. Another term, that is the ZS parameter we have defined, so ZS equals to minus J Z naught pot of beta L. See, this is the inductor. If you see the equation name, if you see the parameter we have seen, that is the sign for the inductor, and at this case the value of the ZS, ZS equals to J Z naught tan of beta L. Similarly, when we have seen the capacity with this kind of parameter, if we see the Zs value, what we have defined, so Zs equals to minus Jz naught cot of beta L. So the capacitive term Jz naught Z days equals to Jz naught tan of beta L we are finding defined, and inductive wave Z is equals to minus Jz naught cot of beta L. Again, the different points of the case of the obviously the range you see. What is the difference? The condition is changed because during these certain parameters. In this case, we have mentioned L is less than lambda by 4. In this case, if you see the value of this particular length that we have mentioned, that is lambda by 4 is less than L is less than lambda by 2. So for this condition, what we are deriving, what we are getting, that is the concern, that is the thing in this case. So the value of Z is equals to minus Jz naught cot of beta L, that is the condition we are defining. And similarly, for the Zs value, in this case, we have defined Z is equals to plus Jz naught tan of beta L. Next, the thing that we have written, that is within the quarter wavelength, that is the lambda by 4 equation. What is the ultimate term? We have seen the expression, we have written down the expression, that is this twice Z naught by the RL, that is the factor we have defined. So the Zs value is that is nearly equal to twice Z naught by Z naught square by RL. Obviously, for the half wave length, that is the lambda by 2 condition. If you follow or if you satisfy. Next, another parameter we will see, that is the Zs value we have defined, that is twice Z naught square divided by the RL, that is for the Zs value, that is the input impedance of various transmission line sections, different factors of the transmission lines. We have seen the different factors we are getting now. One factor we are getting Zs nearly equals to twice Z naught square by RL, another factor Zs is nearly equals to twice Z naught square by the RL factor. So obviously, depending upon the two different conditions, and in this case the condition is lambda by 2. We have started with this different parameter, that is the L is less than lambda by 4. One condition we have seen. Another condition we have seen the this particular length is between the lambda this lambda by 4 is less than L is less than lambda by 2. Another point we have derived, we have seen, that is within the lambda by 2 equation, what will be the effect. So depending upon that, the equation derivation, the equation defined, if we see, that is the Zs equals to Z naught tan of H gamma L equals to Z naught sine of H alpha L cos of beta L plus J cos H alpha L sine beta L divided by the cos H alpha L cos of beta L plus J sine H alpha L sine of beta L. For line lengths that are an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength, odd multiple, there are different terms, that is a type of harmonic systems were defined. So depending upon the odd and the even multiple, if we see the line lengths that are an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength, so sine beta L, that will become plus minus 1, and the cos beta L will become 0 for the odd multiple term. Again, I want to refer the different parameters, the different sections that you have mentioned here, that is very important. So what are the conditions we have mentioned? In this case, we have mentioned that it is an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength. So that sine beta L will be plus minus 1, and the cos beta L equals to 0. Under this condition, the input impedance becomes Zs equals to Z naught into cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L. Zs, I want to again refer, Zs equals to, we are getting Z naught multiplied by the cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L. If alpha L is very small, as it generates generally true for sections of low loss line, so cos of H alpha L is nearly equals to 1, and sine of alpha L is nearly equals to alpha L. So that this Zs will become now Zs nearly equals to Z naught by the alpha L. If alpha L is very small, as is generally true for sections of low loss line, and the cos of alpha L is nearly equals to 1, and sine alpha L is nearly equals to alpha L, so that the Zs term will now become Z naught by the alpha L. When alpha omega L is far greater than R, that is the condition we have just now referred. When the omega L is far greater than R and the omega C is far greater than G, the alpha is given in terms of the line constants. This is the condition we have mentioned, that is the equation number 7110. This alpha equals to half into R into root over C by L plus G into root over L by C. Again, I have to define the alpha value we have defined, we have received, that is the equation number 7110. The alpha value we have seen, that is alpha equals to half into R root over L by C by L plus G into root over L by C. That is the equation number 7110. For the air dielectric lines, commonly used, the losses due to the conductance G are negligible. That is another specific conditions. If we use the air dielectric lines, because we know the dielectricity of the air. So if you use this kind of pattern, this kind of specific applications of this kind of specific lines, so air dielectric lines commonly used, that is a very popular term, that is a very popular terminology we are using. So the for air dielectric lines commonly used for the losses due to the conductance, G are negligible. So the G value will be negligible, and so that the alpha G can be neglected, and the alpha is equals to R by L root over C by L equals to R by 2 Z naught. That is the equation number 7121. Alpha equals to R by 2 root over C by L, that is equals to R by 2 Z naught. That is the equation number 7121. Substituting this in the above expression for input impedance of a short circuited line whose length is an odd multiple of a quarter wavelength gives Zs equals to Z naught by alpha L equals to twice Z naught square by the RL. That is the equation number 7111. So Zs value, the Zs value we have defined, Zs equals to Z naught by alpha L equals to twice Z naught square by RL. That is the identical expression is obtained for an open-ended section. That is a specific case. Again, that is an open-ended section. That is an open-ended transmission line, and that is multiple of a half wave length along. So that is the multiple transmission line equation. Just now we have defined. So what is the multiple transmission line equation? Just now if you see the value for the Zs, that is the Zs equals to Z naught by alpha L. That is the factor we have seen. And in this case, we have seen that Zs is equals to Z naught by alpha L, that is equals to twice Z naught square by RL. That is the equation number 7112. That is an identical expression is obtained for an open-ended section that is a multiple of a half wave long. Resonance in line sections, very important factor, because ultimately the resonant factor, the resonant conditions we have to define, we have to identify. So resonance in line section, if you see the article name, what we have to find out. So the shorted quarter wave section has other properties of the parallel resonance circuit. So we have mentioned the parallel resonance circuit in the previous section also. It is a resonance circuit and produces the resonant rise of voltage or current which exists in such circuits. So that will obviously give us some parameter for the voltage and current that will exist for the resonant condition, resonant circuit condition, and that will give the different equation for the voltage and the current for the circuits. So the mechanism of resonance is particularly easy to visualize in this case. So mechanism means the characteristics, the format that will show or that will see in this case, that will be very practical. That how can you find out the resonance circuit? Because in your circuit theory you have seen how can you find out the series resonance circuit, how to basically follow the parallel resonance circuit. So different resonance circuit conditions we have already know. We have studied in the previous years. That is the for the initial value of the circuit theory, you have to calculate the things. Series of the parallel resonance circuit, what the different condition of the different output we are getting. So the mechanism of resonance is particularly easy to visualize in this case. If it is assumed that a small voltage is induced into the line near the shorted end, there will be a voltage wave sent down the line and reflected without change of phase at the open end. So that is the conclusion. If we see the effect of this particular line, what we are defining, if it is assumed that a small voltage is induced, so a very small amount of voltage that will be induced in this case in the linear line near the shorted end, up to certain extent you have to short it down the thing or shorted the expression. So at the shorted end, what is the expression we are defining, that will be very important. There will be a voltage wave so sent down the line and reflected without change of phase. The phase will remain same. There will be no change in the phase at the open end. This reflected wave travels back and is reflected again at the shorted end with reversal of phase. So the phase reversal will be there because it is it required 1/2 cycle to travel up and back the line. Obviously, lambda by 2, 1/2 means the lambda by 2 cycle you have to follow that will travel, as well as the reflected back signal will be there. So because it required 1/2 cycle to travel up and back that line, this twice reflected wave now will be in phase with the original induced. Obviously, the double change of the phase. So one phase that will be changed when that will be reflected back, and again that is traveling. So again the phase shift will be there. So the overall like 360-degree phase shift kind of effect we are getting. So that will return back to the same phase. So this twice reflected wave now will be in phase with the original induced voltage, and so adds directly to it. Evidently, those conditions continue to increase the voltage, that is, and current in the line until the I square R loss is equal to the power being put into the line. So I square R ultimately give us the loss. So that will be until or unless that will reach the main power that we are feeding. So this phenomenon, this transition, this portion of phase shift will be basically going on. So a voltage step up of several hundreds times is possible depending upon the value of the Q of the line. Next, input impedance of the tuned line. So again, case specific application. We will now discuss the input impedance of the tuned line. If you tune the thing, what will be the input impedance that you will get? This section we will see. So the when the quarter wave section is tapped, because the tapping means we'll just draw down some portion of this particular quarter wave section. So the when the quarter wave section is tapped at some point x, because when we are tapping, so obviously you have seen a certain amount of portion. So in this case, if you see the quarter wave section that we are tapping, suppose up to x section we are traveling, and at the x point we are tapping down the thing. So when the quarter wave section is tapped at some point x along its length, a further correspondence between this circuit and the simple low frequency parallel resonance circuit is observed. The reactance looking toward a shorted end will be inductive, and the value of ZS equals to JZ naught tan beta x. That is the value we are getting. ZSC, that is will be equals to JZ naught tan beta x. The reactance looking toward the open end will be equal magnitude but the opposite sign. So that will be in equal magnitude, but the sign will be reversed. The sign will be opposite. That is a capacitive reactance. That will create the capacitive reactance, because certain applications depending upon this very small parameter. In this case, we are seeing this kind of effect also in the previous cases. But in this case, what we are trying to see, that is up to a certain extent, if we basically tap the section, what will be the effect that we have to identify. So ZSC, that is equal to JZ not tan beta x. So the reactance looking toward the open end will be equal magnitude but opposite side. That will be equal magnitude, but the sign will be changed. So when we will see the same parameter, that is capacitive reactance, that is called the capacitive reactance. Its value is given by ZOC equals to minus JZ naught cot of beta lambda by 4 minus x. Up to certain distance we have to travel. So what is the distance that we have traveled here? So we have traveled here the x distance. So the expression ZOC, that will be equals to minus JZ naught cot of beta lambda by 4 minus x. That is ultimately the value we are getting, that is equals to minus JZ naught tan of beta x. So see the difference. In the previous case, when we have defined the ZSC section, what we have that value just now we have seen, that is ZSC equals to JZ naught tan of beta x. Similarly, when we have defined the value for the ZOC, what is the value we are getting? That is equals to minus JZ naught tan of beta x. So the equal but opposite reactances are in parallel, just as in the figure 7.20a and the table 7.20b. Now we are discussing first case. We have seen that equation number the figure 7.20a. Now we are visualizing this particular figure, that is called the equation number 7.20b. This particular section we are discussing. So this XL and the XC, if you see, that is a variable sign is there, so that will vary. What we want to identify, this RAR value we want to identify. So if you see the pattern of the equation, the figure of the equation, you will find out what are the different values of these ZSC and the ZOC we are defining. So ZSC we have defined because to JZ naught tan beta x, that is the equation. Similarly, ZOC we have defined equals to minus JZ naught cot of beta lambda by 4 minus x, that is equals to minus JZ naught tan beta x. The equal but opposite reactances are in parallel, just as they are in the figure 7.20b. So if you see the XL and the XC, that will be just in the parallel form. If you see the figure, you can easily see this one and this one are in the parallel form. And the input impedance will be purely resistive. So the input impedance, that is the RAR value that we are giving, that will be purely resistive one. There is no other effect. There is no certain different effects we are getting. So this particular point is important. So RAR we are getting, that is purely resistive. That is very important in this case. That is the conclusion. So many conclusions. I want to refer again. So many conclusions we are getting depending upon the different cases. We are just modifying the different case of the application. We are modifying the different equations, and we are establishing the relation between the different cases of the different equation. As the tap point is moved from the shorted end to the open of the line, the impedance seen at the tap point is a pure resistance that varies from zero. What is the current? From 0 to the quite high value already given. Quite high value means the maximum value, the different value of the equation. The quite high value means in this case the maximum value RS we have defined equals to twice Z naught square divided by the RL. What is the value for the RS we have seen? Rs equals to twice Z naught square divided by the RL. This corresponds in the circuit of the figure 7.20b to varying the reactances XL and the XC. So if you change the value for the XL and the XC, because that is a variable knob is there, the variable that is a tunable portion. So you can tune the thing. If you tune the thing, obviously the different values, the different reactance value for the XL and the XC from the low to high values, meaning while always keeping the circuit tuned. So the circuit will be tuned. So at which condition XL equals to XC, that is the basically called the resonant condition when XL equals to XC. It is in interest to know that how the input resistance varies as the tap point is moved along the quarter wave section. So we'll see the different quarter wave section, quarter wave line, how the resistance will be changed. For the relatively high Q circuits using such applications, the voltage distribution along the line may be considered sinusoidal, and it is a simple matter to determine the input resistance at any point a distance x from the shorted end. So from the shorted one, from the point of shorted end parameter, we are finding out the different points. We have seen the different articles and what is the effect of the Q, what are the different values of this Q point we have defined. So these are the different parameters we are getting. So again, the point I want to mention here, the different values of the Q, the different sections of the Q, we have already seen. Different sections of the Q already we have seen. So at XL, meaning we are always keeping the circuit tuned, that is the XL equals to XC we are getting. So it is of interest to know that how the input impedance resistances varies as the tap point. So if we move the tap point means the point here, we have suppose this is the tap point. In this case, we have this is the X length tap point we have mentioned. So if we just change the tap point, what will be the effect? The resistance varies as the tap point is moved along the quarter wave section. For the relatively high Q circuits, high Q means if the Q value is high, different Q values I have mentioned. So if the Q circuit is high, that means the Q value is high. Used in such applications, the voltage distribution along the line may be considered sinusoidal, and it is a simple matter to determine the input resistance at any point at a distance of x from the shorted end. So it is a very crucial parameter, and this distribution is also very important. What is the distribution term they have mentioned? That is a sinusoidal. So the quarter wavelength, the effect of voltage distribution, if you find out the voltage distribution, that will be sinusoidal. If that is sinusoidal, so that is very easy to analyze the different section, different points, a distance x from the shorted end. For a given magnitude of voltage and current on the quarter wave section, a circuit fixed amount of power input will be required to supply the I square A losses because this is the loss parameter that we have to find out. And we know the maximum power, that is the suppose P power we are feeding. So this I square A loss maximum, that will be changed, that will be fixed up. This particular reverse phase parameter that we have mentioned, so that will be up, that will extend up to this I square A losses. So regardless of where this power is fed in, this power input is equal to Vs square by Rs equals to Vs square into RL divided by the twice Z naught. So Vs square by Rs equals to Vs square RL divided by the twice Z naught. That is the condition, this power input, that will be the value. So what is the value? That is the value to have been defined. So where Vs and the Rs, we know that we have different parameter of the Vs and the Rs, that is the voltage and the input resistance at the open end of the section. When the tap point of the feed line is at a distance x from the shorted end, that is the figure 7.20a, the power input is given by Vx square by Rx. Obviously, this Vs will be replaced with the x parameter when we are getting Vx square by the Rx. When we are basically specifying the case. Specifying the case means in this case, the distance, the line that we have mentioned, that is also suppose up to small x duration, small x distance we have to cover. So where Rx is the input resistance of the point x, Vx is the voltage at this point and equal Vs sin beta x. Therefore, Vx square by Rx equals to Vs square sin square beta x by Rx equals to Vs square RL by twice Z naught square, which gives Rx equals to twice Z naught square by the RL sin square beta x. So from the expression you can see the distribution factor, which parameter that is the sinusoidal parameter we are getting, that I want to mention. So mathematically as well as physically, we have seen, we have verified the case that we have just now mentioned that the voltage parameter we are getting, that will be sinusoidal. So if that is sinusoidal, that will be very easy to discuss, or that will be very easy to find out the expression. So for this reason, this Rx value, if we see the expression for the Rx, that is equals to twice Z naught square divided by the RL sin square beta x. Thus, the input resistance varies at the square of the sine of the angular distance from the shorted end. So, angular distance means this is the sine square value. So, if you see the angular sine of the angular distance from the shorted end, Q of the resonant transmission line sections. So how can you find out the Q of the resonant transmission line section? That is the another part. They have segregated. If you see any book, they will segregate the section. So what will be the effect? Now we'll see. So that is the last topic of today's class. So one of the important properties of any resonant circuit is selectively or its ability to pass freely some frequencies, obviously, but to discriminate against another. So at the resonant frequency means that is at this particular frequency there will be certain frequency that will be passed, that will be we are getting the proper response, we are getting the very proper bandwidth kind of response within a certain amount of frequency. If we cross the frequency amount or beyond the frequency amount, we will certainly block the other ranges of the application. So the selectivity of a resonance circuit may be conveniently stated in terms of the ratio del F by V F naught, where F naught is the resonant frequency and del F equals to F2 minus F1. Just I have mentioned the term. So if you see the del F portion, that is the resonant frequency section, how can you define? That is the upper cutoff frequency minus the lower cutoff frequency. So del F equals to F2 minus F1. So del F equals to F2 minus F1 is the frequency difference between the half power frequencies. In the case of the series resonance circuit, del F by 2 represents the amount of the frequency as we shift it away from the resonant frequency in order to reduce the current to this 70.7%, that is the half power bandwidth we are talking about, 70.7% of I naught. Its value of the resonant frequency. A constant voltage source is assumed. Evidently, this occurs when the reactance of the circuit becomes equal to the resistance and the phase angle of the circuit is 45 degrees. For the parallel resonant case, del F by 2 represents the frequency shift away from the unity power factor resonance necessary to reduce the voltage across the parallel circuit to 70.7% of its value at resonance. At a constant current source is assumed. This occurs when the absolute magnitude of the impedance of 70.7% of the impedance at resonance. That is the consider condition. That is the condition we know. This is the that is called the half power bandwidth condition. So 70.7% we have to reach. This occurs when the absolute magnitude of the impedance is 70.7% of the impedance at resonance. The ratio of F naught by del F may be used to define the Q of the resonance circuit. The Q of the resonant transmission line section can be determined as follows. The input impedance of any shorted line section is given by ZS equals to Z naught tan of H gamma L, that is equals to Z naught into sine of H alpha L cos of beta L plus J cos H alpha L sine of beta L divided by the cos H alpha L cos of beta L plus J sine H alpha L sine of beta L. That is the thing we are getting. When the frequency is a resonant frequency F naught, then beta L equals to n pi by 2, where n is an odd integer. Cos beta L equals to 0 and the sine beta L equals to plus minus 1. The expression for the input impedance becomes Zs equals to Z naught into cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L equals to Z naught by the tan of H alpha L in L equals to Z naught by the alpha L. The expression for the input impedance becomes Zs equals to Z naught cos of H alpha L divided by the sine of H alpha L equals to Z naught by the tan of H this alpha L L equals to Z naught by alpha L. When the frequency shifted of resonant frequency by small amount delta, if we vary the thing, then it is that is when this F equals to F naught plus delta F, then this beta L equals to twice pi F divided by the V L, that is equals to twice pi into F naught plus delta F by V L equals to n pi by 2 plus twice pi delta FL by V. So under this condition, when the value of n equals to 1, if the integer value, if you just put the integer value n equals to 1, this cos beta L equals to minus sine 2 pi delta FL divided by the V. That is the cos beta L value we are getting. Cos beta L equals to minus sine 2 pi delta FL by V. And the sine beta L equals to cos of 2 pi del FL by V. And JS equals to Z naught equals to minus sine H alpha L sine of 2 pi F delta FL by V plus J cos H alpha L cos 2 pi del FL by V and divided by the minus cos H alpha L sine of 2 pi del FL by V plus J sine H alpha L cos of 2 pi del F by V. So that are the different factors we are getting. So we have seen the expression for the JS because that is a very bulky equation. Different parameters, we will see the sign reversal. We are getting the sign reversal parameter here. For immediately high Q circuits, the first term in the numerator is the product of the two small quantities and may be neglected in comparison with the other terms. Putting this cos A where H alpha L in L equals to 1 and the side H alpha L in L equals to alpha L. So if we just find out the condition, we are getting the different cases of this sign 2 pi del FL by V is nearly equals to 2 pi del FL by V. So sometimes it's not there. We are getting the nearly equals to value of 2 square del FL by V. Gives JDS value. If we just calculate the JDS value, JDS equals to Z naught by the alpha L J 2 pi del FL by V. So this is the condition we are defining. When the imaginary term in the denominator is equal to the real term, the impedance JDS will be 70.7% of its value for a resonant length, and the frequency shift required to make this true will be del F by 2. Therefore, this 2 pi del F by 2 pi del FL by 2 V equals to alpha L. Del F equals to alpha V by pi, that is equals to 2 alpha F naught by beta. The Q of the resonance circuit, now if you write down the expression for the Q of the resonance circuit, we are getting Q equals to F naught by delta F, that is equals to beta by twice alpha. So alternate form of the expression of the Q that we may write down, that is Q equals to this term, Q equals to pi F naught by alpha V equals to 2 pi F naught Z net by Z naught by the R V equals to omega L by R. Is the equation number 7124. So the Q is independent of the number of quarter wavelengths in this case and the resonance section as long as the QL is a small quantity. It is interesting to solve that the Q of the resonance section of the transmission line is equal to the ratio of the inductive reactance per unit length to resistance per unit length. So a similar analysis could be carried through an open-ended resonance section also. The expression for Q in this case would be identical with the above. So that's all for to discuss. Next class, we will see the quarter wave line as a transformer, the application as a transformer. We will see where at the end of the transmission line equations. So after that, we will see the transmission chart, that is the Smith chart kind of thing, and we will finish this particular article. That is the article name is transmission line equations. Then we will directly move towards the antenna and different antenna parameter circuits. So that's all for today's class. Next class will be on Monday. Monday we'll try to finish because 2 consecutive classes are there. Monday we'll try to finish the overall transmission line equations. That's all for today's class. So thank you very much for your attention. Next class we'll meet again on Monday and we will try to finish the different rest of the portion of the transmission line equations. Thank you.